Hey everybody, I'm that girl Goddess. I'm doing latch hook in my hair. I wished I hadn't put it in so thick. I was laying on the bed. I'm lazy. Didn't want to sit in front of the mirror because I wore myself out. I actually took down my Christmas tree. I'm going to give you a tour. You see, my Christmas tree was on my table and I had Christmas decorations everywhere. Um, Even my little chase. Oh my goodness. I had all my stuff for my circuit. Cricket, and I had a sheet over on my couch with Christmas stuff dangling down. I got in here yesterday and you talking about throwing down. I said, okay, let me come out of this rut. And I just started. Sprayed down my floors and everything. Okay. Soft waxed them. Put pledge, went all around my tables. Got me another two antique tables. Okay. Changed some furniture around. My microwave went out. It was just a crazy day. But all in all, it's all good. Because stuff I've been saying I was going to do and haven't done got done yesterday. You know, I just got to take my new cookware, I got a rice cooker, two new crock pots. One of them is basically for like beans and stews and stuff, and beans and anything that takes a long time to cook, vegetable wise, and the other one is basically, and you can say beans and vegetables like stews, or chili. The other one is for meat when I want to have a roast, pot roast, and all that kind of stuff. And then I got me another toaster oven. And I got one in my kitchen, a toaster oven, but I got some things, upcoming events coming. And when I get in that kitchen and get them plugging everything up, I need each one of my things plugged up on the table somewhere to preparing the food because I'm going to be doing a feast. I got, engagement later on. Well, I'm going to talk about when you get married. Well, I'm not even going to say married, single. If you so happen to become rich, wealth come to you, are you obligated to take care of your family? And I heard a video about this one day. I was listening and she was like, yeah, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And I heard another person say, am I my brother's keeper? And I looked at him. No, God is the keeper of all souls. All souls belong to him. First of all, your family it's the prerequisite, really, to get you ready for spiritual warfare and to get you an general ideal of how people are in the world. Just because they blood don't mean they loyal. Just because they blood don't mean they love you. You have to recognize some things. You have some discernment. A lot of families do these pity parties. And I tell people, look, just like I went out here, work, bust my butt. I bought houses for my children. And unfortunately, the flood in Michigan destroyed it. But I was about my business. Now, I made a move, come down to another state because I couldn't deal with Michigan. It was too many floods, and FEMA, they give us something, and I was grateful for whatever I got. Don't get me wrong. But when you done had water to the top of your roof and you don't have nothing, and my household at that time was of 4 people, okay? My 2 sons, his girlfriend was there. And when I say I lost everything, everything. And they came out and they gave me like $2,400, possibly $2,600. But when I got through just buying us some clothes, I mean, they didn't even come and give us housing, somewhere to lay our head. And we couldn't go into our house for 2 weeks because on our block, they had closed the drains, put sand all in them, and they was going to do it over and replace the drains, put a new drain somewhere else. When I say it took about 2 weeks for that water to go down, the last flood I was in, and I had $2,600. Sleeping in my car, couldn't come to my house. And when I got there, it was mold from the top down. Okay. I was so unfortunate. And I look up at God and say, what did I do to deserve this? And it was nothing. He told me he answered my prayer. My prayer was to let me know when it's time for me to relocate out of state. And if you know me, I procrastinate, do whatever it takes to make me leave. And when he got that flood, it was no hesitation. I was out. Okay. I think after that flood, that was August. I'm going to say I left in January. I found me another job outside of the flood. That was in October. Man, they let us sleep there because a lot of us was displaced from our homes. They had my blankets and stuff. They had hand warmers and all that kind of stuff. Well, by the time December came in, I called one son and I told him, I said, I'm getting ready to leave. I got my house. I put down my mortgage. I tried to get some things for them. And I was out. Okay. I was out. I wasn't playing no games. I didn't want to deal with another flood. And it was an insult. You give me $2,600 for my grown son, his girlfriend, and my other son, and myself. When I say my dinette set, and they came in and investigated, I had a marble dinette set that was over $40,000. Okay. A brand new living room set, because I was from the other flood. Brought some stuff, set up the house. All my clothes, minks, everything gone in a blink of an eye. Okay. I was able to salvage a few things, try to wash them down, all my pots and pans. I spent so much money on this stuff. I went and bought a new living room set, had it delivered to the house and some other furniture. And I ended up catching COVID and went into the hospital. Well, I informed my landlord that I wasn't going to be there. And I informed her that I was definitely going to move out because the house was unlivable, declared unlivable. But she felt that she should have got the rent anyhow. Okay, that's just how she felt, because people are greedy. They don't care. How do you gonna charge somebody rent and you got mold from the top to the bottom? Okay. I done lost laptops, computers. It was just overwhelming. Stereo system, 65-inch screen TVs. I lost everything. And where she stayed, she wasn't affected by the flood. And she's sitting there, come on the block, because her husband had owned several homes on the block, and he had dementia, so she was taking care of it. When you leave, this woman will go into your house and steal. I didn't catch on till after the flood. And I told her, I said, well, once I get home, which I couldn't go home from the hospital from having COVID, get into the house, okay? But I had my son, I had delivered some stuff to the house. And it was all in the living room to take with me, because right before I got COVID, I was finna move everything out of state. Bought some stuff for them. Okay. Gone, Benji. Well, nothing. Okay. And to me, it was like an insult. I mean, between 4 people and $2,400, it was like $800. Thank God I had saved up some money in my bank account. And my son had just bought a home, off of auction, another home. So he had bought 2 of them. If it wasn't for those things, man, you talking about the system supposed to have your back. But across the street, which Dearborn, a suburb, they gave them, and it was like an Arabic community. When I say they handed them some checks, FEMA was cashing them out with $20,000. This, and this. They had a bunch of benches in their house. And they treated the people, the Detroit residents, like crap. That's a lot of hair you can see on my face. That's why I wear foundation, so you won't see all that hair. People say baby hair, whatever. Look like dirt. Down. I got 2 new cats. And I made a mistake and cooked some shrimp and gave them some whole shrimp. And they think they're telling me to get them some shrimp. Gone. But I'm not. But I'm going to get back on topic. Okay? Because I'm talking about the crisis and everything. And if I make it and I become rich, am I obligated to help my family? I think about my family in my deepest and darkest hours. One house caught on fire. Could I come stay with them? No. I needed someone to watch my children. They didn't have a job on Section 8. And would they watch my children? No. And I'm gonna tell you the weird, strange thing about it. One of my homes, I let them live in that household for about 9 years. Paid for 2 houses, even though my adopted mom was extremely abusive. Okay. Could I go stay with them? No. Did they ever pay rent? No. Okay. You're not obligated to do anything for anybody except for your own household. Okay? That means your children, your spouse, and some people like to say your parents, but everybody didn't have a real parent. Okay? And God explained this to me. He says some people have mothers and some people have someone who gives birth. And he never lied. And people think once I get through busting my butt, they always come up this legacy thing going. Even when people wealthy and you done jumped through so much hoops, went through hell, worked 2 and 3 jobs all night, the oil was burning, and they feel, and they won't even get up and press a time clock. They didn't even work. Okay, Section 8, and they had all kind of favors going in the land, and they were devil worshippers too. But guess what? When she said it, I heard her, am I obligated? No. Will I give them something? Well, prior to, just so they can keep them out of my house, I bought a home they stayed in. Okay, will I do this? No. Because when my sisters were up, they didn't give me nothing. Okay? And I'm not mad, because I always recognize once I become a grown person, an adult, I have to go out here and make it for myself. And when I get a husband, he can help meet me with my cause, just like I'm help meeting him with his cause. But to say obligated, God say, oh, no man nothing but love. I mean, and love goes to, you work of no ill to thy neighbor. Why am I taking care of adult relatives that has the same capability of going out there grinding like myself? And I'm supposed to feel bad that when I come into something, I'm supposed to be passing my money out. No. When I come into my own, it is for me, my spouse, and I'm going my children to share. Because one thing about my children, if I get on the phone and tell them, well, I need some money, they going to send it. Sometimes my daughter called me and said, Mama, check your cash app. Okay. In dark times. But I've been there for them in dark times as well as adults. And I tell people, if they come into something great, they're not obligated to me. And I let them know that you don't owe me that. You owe me respect, love. If I get so I'm not able to take care of my own self, then God wants you to step in to help care for your parents. I said, but when one of them had an absent father, I turned around and said, you come into your own, you better not give him nothing. You do not feel the hand that bites you. Okay? No. You got to operate in wisdom. You bless those who bless you. That's what the Bible say. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. And we are to be like that. I tell people, I don't, but he commanded that vengeance is his. So when it comes to them doing me wrong, I can just depend on my God. And he got me. And he going to seek the vengeance. He know exactly how to get them. But when it comes to me, I treat people in the way I want to be treated. Follow the word. But you ain't going to sit here and think you giving me a pity spirit and you break your face down. But well, you should have got up and started grinding. As a grown woman, before you hit 18, you know you got to go out here and do it. You get your high school diploma. I'm not going to put my children out in the street at 18. Okay? I let them work. I never asked them for $1 of their money when they were standing in my house. They didn't have to pay rent that young. They went to school or whatever in my house for 2 years. But it was beyond 2 years. We're going to say like 24 years. But that's okay. And I had them young. Maybe I related to them like they was like my sister and brother. Okay? But that's okay. When I had them, I got up and started grinding. And I didn't choose to get pregnant. But when they came, I was about that business. Went out there, prayed to God for a spouse, got me a spouse. And when I became grown, bought in HUD houses, I saved that money. Okay, I saved that money. I bought them homes, took care of myself, went to school, college, went to work, bust my butt, 2 and 3 jobs. I never complained in my household of providing for any of mine. And after I got married, my husband was very good to my children. And I tell people, and I never said that stupid stuff. Me and my kids are package deals. We're me and my children gonna go where I go, not on a date, because that's inappropriate. You trying to get to know someone, you're gonna ask tough questions even about their sexuality. Children shouldn't be on a date. Okay, children have to be in the child's place. Okay, you can't afford a babysitter, then you should let them know. Well, I have children, I don't have no money for a babysitter. Say, I don't know if you want to, I can give my mother this amount, and if you can help me on this, and we go on a date. And when you go on that date, you should have your own money. Females, I don't know why y'all think dating is a prostitution ring. And then get mad when they ask for some. You presented yourself on a garbage lid. You always have your money. Do I believe a man should pay for the date when he want to take you out? Yes, because God called them to pursue a woman. And when they court you and they take you and they don't know when you get your check, when your bills due, this, and this, if they ask you out, yes, they should pay. But they can say, well, I'm paying, but we only going to spend this amount on our plates. And it has to make sense. Not you go to White Castle and they go to J. Alexander or Longhorn, whatever that restaurant is. But you should have common sense. See, when you want to know something about a female and you get to order, you take her on a date and she get to ordering 3 and 4 meals before she even finish ordering. Say, wait. Tell her I need you to leave and come back. To hold up on that and tell her, are you paying for all of that food? And if she say no, say, I said I'll pay for dinner or I'll plate this amount. Anything outside of that, I'm not paying for. Okay, because you can have a lot of nice family restaurant. And I always tell people Red Robin, Olive Garden, Red Ruby, Sweetening House, Golden Corral, a Chinese buffet. All you can eat places is always good. Okay. Local dining restaurants, and they dinners usually run about $20, $25 with a drink or so. That's reasonable. That's a gentleman thing to do the first go round. But outside of that, as a lady, you can offer, when he said the next time, say, well, I know you paid for me the first time, but I'm gonna let you know we can go Dutch and we're trying to get to know one another. That's what a lady do. Quality woman do. They may refuse it, and that's fine. But even if they insist on paying for the next meal, because see, my children are like that. My sons, I raised them to be gentlemen, high value men. They don't care nothing about it. And when they go, even the church I went to, Great Faith Ministry turned to Impact Ministries. Our pastor told us when we go out and there's a waitress, you tip and you tip good. And when he said tip, you need to give your service $20 plus. Set aside $100. He told us, and everybody at the table gonna give good, okay? Because them people are working for, and I did it. I was a server. $3.75 an hour, and you living off of tips, and people disregard that. I think it's a stupid job to have you work for a wage that low. I feel that you serving the people, you're clearing tables, them plates are heavy. Oh my God, you washing the table, setting it up for the next people. You going back and forth with their orders. People talking to you nasty. Some people are nasty. They spit on their plates and cups. Okay, but that's me. I'm gonna be a lady at all times. But when it comes to my coins, just because I'm a lady, if your parents take care of you, they're supposed to take care of their children. When they old and feeble, then I refeed. Okay, if they was a good parent. But just for everybody to have their hand out when I make it and want to give me a sob story and want me to buy them a car, no ma'am, no sir. I'm gonna tell you to get up off your butt and grind. And I had a bunch of children, and they never seen poverty. To the point my son came out here and I was showing him my dining set, and I was showing up. I was like, "Want to see my dining room set? It is so pretty." And he always know I go all out for my dining room set. 14 karat gold. Silverware, dishes, the crystals, 24 karat, 14 karat. He know that's me. Nice china. But you know what? As soon as he went to do it, he said, "Well, mama, we always had a beautiful home. You always had nice furniture. We always had the best." And when he said that, I looked up, and for once, I had a compliment. And he told me that when he made his sons, he said, "I buy their school clothes and stuff just the way you used to do us." And I was like, "What?" Because he used to hate everything I did. "Mama, that is stupid. That's dumb." Okay, he was outspoken, you know. But when he said that, and like if I asked for him, he was like, "Yeah, if I got it, you got it." My other son, he come out, "I got you." Daughter, all my sons only got one daughter though, but a lot of sons. I really appreciate that. And they know if they in Michigan, they go through a flood, they can always come down here and stay. I'm just gonna cash out them some instant bus ticket money. Get on the Greyhound. Okay? Because nobody asked to be homeless and displaced. Just like this Arctic weather and pipes bursting and the ceiling, the water went to running. And when you got water running through your roof, you got a hot mess because all that drywall for ceiling for every room, that water is traveling and it will cave in. And that is a more than expensive fix. And yeah, if they bought a home or if I get coming, I'll look out. But to say, am I obligated? No. Say, am I going to do it? No. Aunties, cousins, this, that, niece, nephew. I'm not giving you all my money. And when my nephew, he made it good. He ain't called me and said, "Auntie, you need some money?" They not pimping my pocket. As adults, we are created equal. We can go out there and get it. Now, unless they handicap and certain things like that, then I got you. But these able bodies, no ma'am, no sir. God said go in the vineyard and labor. I don't see them laboring. They set on the system. They asked them to work 20 hours. They still set on the system and didn't comply. Now they crying. Section 8 tired. The whole world tired because all of us hardworking people, we were so tired of carrying them. And they was laughing at us. And then they said, "Have another baby." Girl had 7 children, 7 different baby daddies, and turned around and said she pregnant with baby number 8. One of them said she pregnant with twins and had 12 children, but never had a job. When they put that on TikTok, the government look right into that and say, "Oh no, the hell you not. We see you ain't that stupid. You playing everybody, and everybody tired." And I was like, they want to tell us we not gonna get our our Social Security benefits or retirement when we get old, but we worked all our lives, 2 and 3 jobs. I worked 2 and 3 jobs half my life. How you gonna tell me I'm not gonna get my Social Security benefits? Jobs closed down. Oh no. Them jobs think that you're gonna retire. you got that money taken out. They'll terminate you. You got to go into your own savings, your retirement 401k. You have to live off it, can't find a job, lose everything because you got to live off of it. Get the penalties for taking it out early. Oh, I know about all of that. And you mean to tell me when I'm finally able to enjoy my life and enjoy some of the things in this world, that I'm going to run around and try to cater to people who never got off their butt, their tails, and try to do anything for themselves, not even 20 hours, and they live in Section 8, got money, they pay them the children, go to child care and all that stuff. Rent $11, state paying the rest, or they just subsidized $11. They don't go to work, they ain't got to pay nothing. And you mean to tell me a lot of them was too cute to even sell plasma? I wasn't. Whew. So when I got to the point, I was able to get me a mink coat, and my husband gave me a mink coat. Let me explain something. I deserve to enjoy the luxuries. When I bought cars and stuff like that, I deserved it because I grind. And when it get comfortable for me, I tell people, my house I bought down here may not be the cat's meow to everybody. But I'm going to tell you something. When you buying houses in Michigan and floods coming and all kind of catastrophes happening, I thank God for the roof over my head. I thank God for him being in my life. To the point he told me, because I was working 2 jobs, to let one job go. And I was like, yeah, but the bills, and I need to make repairs on the house, and I don't physically want to do everything, and I don't know how to do everything. And you know what? I was worried. I said, then that means I got to cook for myself all the time. Do you know, since I left that job, whenever I wanted to go to a restaurant to eat or take home something, do you know I took home something? I just want y'all to know. He had made a way out of no way, even to the point I was in a restaurant and I paid for one dinner. And then I said, well, let me get dinner for tomorrow. And by the time they had these rib tips, and by the time they wanted to come out with it, the girl went to pass me the food. And I hadn't paid for that dinner. I paid for the other dinner. She said, here. And I went to reach for it. I looked at her. She said, have a great day. I said, I'm not even going to do you like this. And she said, what? And she was trying to blink. I said, I'm going to pay for this. I said, you was going to give it to me. I hadn't paid for it. And they all turned around, looked at me. I would have been out. You know? And I thank God. Because they ain't the first time. He made other times where he done made a way out of no way for me. And I tell you, I have taken some of those free dinners. you know, even when I went to job and I was like, oh, I ain't got no money. I need some milk. So won't go happen to go past the church and they was giving out food. They put it on the tables and you can go look at it. And I said, well, let me go in because they always have some nice fruits and vegetables. That's how I eliminate a lot of my grocery bills. I'm going to go get that cabbage, them plantains. Oh my God, bags of apples, bags of pears. I tell people, look, my God, I'm predominantly vegetarian. He prepared food for me. The church didn't even give out meat. I went there one time and he had some steak hamburger and what is it? 80-20% lean hamburger. He had a roast. Somehow they brought some rotisserie chicken. And I was just go up there to get some fruit. I was on my way to the grocery store. I said, well, I ain't got much, but I'm going to go get something. Excuse me. Man, when I say I had so much stuff in my car, it didn't make sense. I was giving it out to a lot of people because a lot of elderly can't get out, and the ones I know, I go bring them stuff. Because they said something about me to me about diabetes, God even put some 100% whole wheat bread that had no sugar in it, and it was only, each slice was only 15 calories. I'm going to tell you how good God is and how he can set up something for you. They had some organic milk. I'm like, wow. I talked to God about some things. I said I wanted some cereal. It was there. They never have it. I even said one day I went to go past the church and I turned around and I said the day before, I said, well, God, I got to get some snacks. I know I'm watching my carb intakes and stuff, but I want some potato chips. You know, the church had a big old gave me 2 big boxes of Takis, different flavors and different type of potato chips. And I looked, I said, oh my God. And I was like, my God don't play about me. He be hearing my prayers. And even when I said I wanted some grapes, man, there'd be grapes up there, big old, the cotton candy grapes of different, when I say red grapes, the dark blue grapes and the green grapes. I said someone off, I'm finna go upstairs and get some yogurt. Let me explain something. They gave me cases of yogurt. I wanted to buy some cottage cheese so I can put some fruit in it. They had that there. It wasn't best before this date, wasn't bad. I said, well, God, you told me to stock up because it's gonna be a famine in the land and I need to go out here and get some canned goods. I wasn't even going past the church. Somehow the lady asked me to go past there to see was someone there and wanted me to have them call them whatever. So I went. They was putting out cases of canned goods. When I say I got corn, green peas, green beans, carrots, I got chili in the can, different cans of soup. I just looked up, I said, my God. Okay. And I tell people like, you don't know when God gonna answer. I said, well, I know when God gonna answer. When I put my prayer up, he answers. And they be like, oh, yeah, he answered your prayers. I was like, because I walk faithful. I don't have a problem getting up and giving people the word. I don't have a problem getting up at midnight. I have got up at midnight and start praying over interceding for somebody else across town, prayed for about 6 hours straight. I have no problem reading them scriptures. I done read the Bible from front to back so many times. Be in that word, taught classes, minister, established people. And I tell people, it's not by works if any man should brag, but it's by his power. But he said, if we boast in the Lord. Okay? I done babysit people, children, raised them, provided for them, for their school clothes and uniforms, and never asked for $1. Children was with me for about 6, 7 years. Never complained, didn't say a word. And I tell people, when you faithful to God, and I even with churches, they had lines, and when I seen that they was building the wall and they wanted to have it marble, and they say everybody need for this amount of the marble tile to go against the wall, it was gonna take $250 for each one. And I sit there and pay for least I paid $1,000, but then I dedicated. I said, okay, I'm gonna get one for my children or this lady right here. I said, I'm gonna pay for you one too, so she can have her name written down that we were the contributors of the wall and stuff. Talking about buying clothes, I used to, and I know I got a problem because I do spend too much money. I shop a lot, but I'm gonna stop spending so much money and handle my money properly. You know. I'm asking God to work on me with that. Even though I said I was gonna go to the second hand to go get me a microwave, because these new microwaves go out in like 2-3 years. But if you go get an old school microwave, it's still running and good. And that's another thing about being obligated to people. Do you know the people I know, most of them is too good to go to the church to get some food on Section 8, don't work, got 1 million children, no man, but they too good to go to church. But I go to church and stop by their house and drop off a load. Now I got one sister, yeah, she'll do it, okay. But why should I help people that don't even help themselves? Don't even try. Yeah, these new cats, they got to get adjustment period. But I ain't messing around, gave him that shrimp, and he keep coming over there and looking at me. I'm not gonna give him no shrimp. But I'm gonna say this to everybody: and when you come into your own, no matter how big or small, you're not obligated to give nobody nothing. Okay? When God rewards you and He give you that blessing is for you. Don't let nobody pre-hustle you out of your blessing, especially ones that so-called family. Now, if God lay it on your heart to give somebody something, then do it. But if He didn't, they just sit around want to look pitiful, tell them to do what you do. Say, grind, baby, grind. Okay? But I'm telling everybody, just be faithful with God. Treat people right. Repent when you see that you too far out there. Be a blessing. God gonna give out the lesson. Okay? I'm that girl Goddess. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye.